Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. In Luke chapter 5, there you have a day in which the Lord had performed a lot of miracles. He had healed a lot of sicknesses. You also have him teaching quite a bit. And at one point he's in a house and you have this paralytic that's lowered down through the roof and lowered right there in front of Jesus. And Jesus forgives his sins and also heals him. And the guy gets up and takes up his bed and walks. And what I really like is this last statement in this section found in verse 26, where it says, "They were all struck with astonishment and began glorifying God, and they were filled with fear, saying, 'We have seen remarkable things today.'" We have seen remarkable things today, they said. And surely they had. They had seen the Lord work all these miracles. They had gotten to hear and also see Jesus teach. They had seen remarkable things that day. But I would suggest that each and every one of us can say that each and every day. Each and every day that we wake up in the Lord's presence, each day we wake up in God's creation, we too can say, "We have seen remarkable things today." And these are brought out actually in our reading in the Psalms, in Psalm 65. We have there the psalmist talking about many things that we experience in connection to our relationship with the Lord. We see in verse 3 that we have the forgiveness of sins. It says, "Iniquities prevail against me. As for our transgressions, you forgive them." Each and every day we get to see the forgiveness of the Lord. As we recognize our shortcomings, as we recognize how we fall short, we go to the Lord in prayer and we trust in the blood of Christ to cleanse us of all of our unrighteousness and to receive the forgiveness of sins. And that's something that we can enjoy each and every day. But also, the nearness of the Lord is something we can experience each and every day. In verse 4 of Psalm 65, it says, "How blessed is the one whom you choose and bring near to you." And each of us have been brought near to Christ, been brought near to God through the blood of Christ. And we can live in close communion with the Lord, walking hand in hand in fellowship with God. And that's a beautiful thing that we get to experience each and every day. But then we also get to experience answered prayer. And those are some of the most precious times that we ever experience. And in verse 2, he talks about how the Lord hears prayer. And then in verse 5, how he answers prayer. "By awesome deeds you answer us in righteousness." And it might be that today, even today, we get to experience an answered prayer by the Lord. And I believe that we probably experience more answered prayers than we realize. Typically, we think of answered prayers as those big things that we ask for, or those desperate times when the Lord comes through for us. But he also answers our prayer in giving us our daily bread and providing us with our daily provisions, helping us and giving us strength to get through the day. There's probably a lot more answered prayers than we realize, but the Lord is there to hear our prayers and also to answer our prayers, and we can experience that each and every day. But then there is God's creation, which is definitely something that we can view and look at and say, you know what, we've seen remarkable things today. And also in Psalm 65, it talks about the mountains that God has created. In verse 6, it says, "Who establishes the mountains by his strength, being girded with might." And we can imagine the mountains that stand there each and every day as a means by which we can look at and observe and recognize the strength and the might of God. There's also the oceans in verse 7, "Who steals the roaring of the seas and the tumult of the peoples." The roaring of their waves and the tumult of the people. So we can talk about these large bodies of water, whether it be oceans or seas. We could even talk about rivers. But these, water is one of the most powerful things that we experience, especially moving water. But God controls them all and has them all under his control. And we can be reminded of that as we view these things. And then the psalm goes on to talk about in verses 9 through 13, the provision that the Lord gives to his creation, the provision of rain, of grain, of crops, of grasslands, of sheep, and the list could go on. But the main idea is that we can look at God's creation and see his wonderful power. We can see his wonderful provision, and we can see his creative acts through the things that we see and view through creation, through this earth, the things on this earth. And so each and every day, we get to see remarkable things. We can join with the people there in Luke chapter 5 and say, you know what, we have seen remarkable things today. We've seen the forgiveness of the Lord. We've experienced the nearness of the Lord. We've experienced also answered prayers. And we've got to see his beauty in creation all around. And those are just the things listed in Psalm 65. There could be a whole host of other things that we could add to the list that we get to see. They're just remarkable things. And so when we start to get down and maybe we begin to feel gloomy, or we begin to get depressed as we think about international problems, or even maybe national problems, or even personal problems we experience, let's remember that each and every day holds some remarkable things. And maybe it would help if we focus on those remarkable things and allow them to leave us in a state of awe and wonder, and to leave us also in a state of gratitude and thanksgiving towards the Lord, so that when we lay our heads down at night, we can say with certainty, we have seen remarkable things today. So with that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.